Hello, everybody. Just thought I would check in here again. I think I did one. I don't know if I still have it posted or not, but I did one back on, I think it was April the 7th. Now it's like May the 20th, I think. Let me look at my iPad here. Yeah, Friday, May the 20th. Sorry about that. Um, so I just thought I'd check back in. The world's pretty much the same crazy place that I've been talking about and warning about and everything for the last 2 years. I got started with some of these videos just before the pandemic, probably November, December of 2019, and then I jumped back in like February, March of 2020, and then just did various ones from that time forward. Uh, yeah, crazy, crazy world, everybody. So just thought I would see how everybody's doing. I, I'll never be like a real YouTuber. Don't like, subscribe, and you know, set notifications for this post or for my channel or whatever. I don't care about all that. So, uh, yeah, if you want to, you can. But uh, so hope everybody's doing okay out there. I mean, like what is it? Like, subscribe, um, set notifications, and comment below, and all that. I don't mind if you comment below. I mean, commenting's fine. I genuinely like to hear what everybody's going through out there these days, and maybe that would help me get a little bit more direction in the topics of the posts that I have here. Let me adjust my camera here. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm using a Movie Pro. It's a pretty good app. It allows me to use my Bluetooth earpieces, which I've talked to you about everybody about before, but allows you to use Bluetooth for your microphone. Because I hate that a lot of the YouTubers I follow, their audio is like really low quality. They complain about low quality, but all you have to do is get a pair of any Bluetooth headphones. I mean, the AirPods work the best, obviously, with Apple. But any Bluetooth work well. I mean, I'll take a screenshot of my phone here while I'm talking, and you'll see how the audio is bouncing, on the side there. I mean, it would be a lot more tinny and it would be a lot more background sound. The crickets aren't really out tonight, I don't think. No, pretty quiet night, except my tinnitus. I had to is it my tinnitus or is that a cricket? No, it's quiet out tonight where I am here in Kentucky. So, but yeah, so really, but the main new news, new news, new normal, new news in my life is that I have a friend who's been letting me stay in his RV over the past, well, it was just probably 4 or 5 days while he was out of town. He has a permanently placed RV, and it was really nice. It was nice to get away from the house and get away from everybody and just spend some time. I guess I'm duck sitting. I'm a duck sitter. His chickens are fine. They just free range around his property, but his chickens, or I'm sorry, the ducks, they need to be put up every night and fed and watered every day, every morning and every evening, and then I let them out during the day so they can do their duck thing and go around and get grubs or bugs or whatever they eat out of the grass. I mean, everybody who's seen a chicken or a duck know that they're always sitting there like pecking at the ground. You never know what they're getting. I mean, I guess you could sort of lay down there on the ground and sort of like watch, down there on the ground, just like lay there, and you might see like a bug or an ant. Maybe they're like picking up ants or just little bugs or something. I don't know, but they seem to do really well during the day. So I just um, usually wait for the until about evening time, and then if they're not already back in their cage, which I discovered the other day, um, usually in the evening they let themselves back in to their cage. Um, for safety. A lot of people, oh, you should let your ducks free range. No, ducks aren't good free range. And chickens are good because they can hop up in a tree and they can roost. But like ducks, they don't have the same feet. They have like webbed feet. They're made to be in the water. But domesticated ducks, at least the ones that I've met, which I guess I've only met about three or four of them met. Um, Domesticated ones, they tend to just sort of hang out like on land and stuff. They don't really like to go in water a whole lot. I mean, if you toss them in there, they'll swim around for a bit. If there's more than two, if you toss one in, it's gonna jump back out and hang out with his buddy on the land. If there's two or more and you toss them all in at the same time, they might hang out there in the water for a bit and enjoy it a little bit, but then they still come back out. I mean, ducks are weird. So, but enough on the ducks. But yeah, the RV thing, that's something I really want to do. With everything just the way it's going, um, I guess there's sort of three options, I guess, in the whole RV van life. Let me get the quotes in here. RV van life type world. There's sort of like three options, three viable options. You have like vehicle camping. So if you have like an SUV, like the one right here, um, you can put down the back seats or even take out the back seats, put a platform down, put like a cushion, have like some other stuff or a little shelf or some clothes or whatever. But it's small. I mean, you can barely sit up in the damn thing. I mean, this particular one is sort of like the Land Rovers, Range Rovers, like those type where it really goes down here in the back, so it's very low in the back part of it. So now, unlike a lot of them, I mean, the one that I have, thankfully, you know who you are. The one I have, it's very tented out already, so I don't really need. I probably wouldn't need a whole lot of like window coverings, for privacy and everything, because the entire vehicle all the way around is pretty tented down. I'd probably need at least maybe the front three windows, some blackout things, but the back windows are completely dark. I mean, even in the middle of the bright day, I have trouble seeing out of them sometimes, but it's all good. So I've been thinking about maybe doing some overnight trips and that one just to get started in the whole community, maybe just around my local area. I mean, a lot of the people who might have followed me for a while, you all know I live in like the southern Kentucky, Lake Cumberland region, and there's a lot of beautiful places down here, parks, natural like federal parks, state parks, um, local ones. I mean, I think the Daniel Boone, I mean, the Appalachian that comes all the way down through Kentucky into like Tennessee. You got like Big South Fork, which is southern Kentucky, like Wayne, or not Wayne County, Whitley County, McCreary County, down into Tennessee. Beautiful areas. I mean, totally rugged. So I may probably to start, I may do some very close weekend trips, uh, utilizing those places. Um, and then down the road, after, like I said, staying in my friend's RV, it's RVs. I mean, for some people, it's not their cup of tea. I mean, they still want a house. They still want to stoves and microwave. I mean, and you have those. You really do have those in like a decent RV. But I guess the space limitations are might be a little bit constraining for some people, but for me, they're not. Um, Even being in a bigger house, with a garage, and living rooms, and everything. I mean, I use when you really think about the space you use very little. I mean, I'm on my phone now. I'm sitting in a chair in my garage in the corner between my car and the wall. That's the wall over here. I mean, it's literally like 4 feet. So, well, yeah, probably 4 feet between the car and the wall. So, an RV is like 7 or 8 feet. If you have an extension, 9, 10, 11 feet. So, in a lot of cases, the RV would actually probably be more spacious in the general living area than most of the places that you would spend in your own house or your own living space. Um, you know, like the cooktops, microwave ovens, refrigerators, they're all pretty much the same, but they're a little bit smaller. So you have a three cooktop burner, or two or three instead of four. You have a slightly smaller refrigerator. It's bigger than the mini fridges in a lot of cases, but smaller than a residential. But really, how much food do you need to have on hand at any given time? Just get off your ass and go to the store and buy some more. Um, let's see what else. Like the couches in an RV, like the couches, they may appear smaller or even feel smaller, but they're just as comfortable. They're just as good. So I don't know. Like I said, I spent a handful of nights out in my friends, and I was more than comfortable. And when it came to like the bedroom, in his case, it's a pretty decent sized unit. It's like a 31 FKRK. That's the model number. But even though it says 31, it's actually like 38 feet. It's like pretty good service. It has water running to it, sewage, and everything. So you can take showers. You can, take a dump. um, you can wash your dishes. With his particular setup, he uses like his gray and black water tanks, and then he just drains them into his septic or whatever. So it's still, it's not much different than a house. Once you're sort of settled into one, it's not much different than a real house. But if you really want to, if you get tired of where you are, you can pick up and go. If you don't have a tow vehicle, you can call a friend or pay somebody to come and tow you to a new spot somewhere, wherever that may be, whether it's a RV park or if you buy a piece of property somewhere or a friend's property or whatever, you can do that. You have that freedom, that flexibility. So that's the second option I'm looking at is the RV side of things. Yes, I guess. I mean, yeah, I might look old with my beard and the gray coming in and everything, but I'm not that old yet. I'm only in my heading on late 40s, I guess, this year. Um, but I'm really interested in the van life too, whether it's a smaller, like Econoline van or like a slightly larger, like Ford Transit or the Ram, Dodge. What is it? I forget the name of them. The Dodge vans, or even a Sprinter. If I, that's sort of the creme de la creme of van life is the Mercedes Sprinter vans. I mean, even empty, just an empty van, a couple years old, they're still like 40, 50, $60,000. Way too much for me. The Sprinters, I've seen them everywhere from like 20 to like 30, 40, depending on the age. The Ram ProMaster, that's what I was thinking of. The Ram ProMasters, they're pretty expensive. They're good too, but I have a friend who has one and he says the transmissions give him a lot of trouble. He has one with 240,000 miles and he's been through three transmissions on it already. But granted, he runs his company runs like a daily pickup route with it, so it's constantly stopping and going and driving every single day. I'm sure if if I was fortunate enough to buy a new one, it would probably be sitting for a week or two at a time somewhere, and wouldn't put nearly as much wear and tear on the vehicle. So, so those are sort of the three options I'm thinking of. Um, don't know how I'm going to get to it. Again, people who follow me a little bit, or people who know me that might be watching this, they know I'm sort of a freelance type person. I just work on my own, self-employed. So I got to figure that out. I got to figure out how I'm going to get the funds to fulfill this dream. I mean, if I do this, the vehicle route like this, I can start almost any time. I mean, it's a couple $100 to get a couple items. If I go like a small van, I don't know, like a conversion, like a 1990s or early 2000s conversion, you can buy those for like 4 or 5 thousand bucks. Put some items in it, so that would be about a six, seven, $8,000 thing. RVs, like smaller RVs, you can get for 16 to $20,000. Which, if you finance them in the right way, you can get the monthly payment as well as like anywhere from like 150 to like $200 a month, depending on whether or not you have solar or battery, or whatever features you add to it from the dealer. So there's that option, which monthly, that's not too bad, but then you still have to find a place to either put it on if you're going to be semi-permanent, or you have to find a tow vehicle. Now, I think even my vehicle here, I don't have a hitch, but I can get the hitch put on it. Um, I think this tows 3,500 pounds, and a couple of the ones I've been looking at are anywhere from like 2,500 to like 3,200 pounds dry. That's if you don't have water in the freshwater tanks and you've emptied your black and gray water. Just empty weight without a whole lot of stuff, you know, brought on board uh, to bring that weight level up. So so that's sort of a close second option. But again, I gotta start somewhere, and this video is sort of like I have another introductory video coming from, like I said, staying out at my friend's house. I'm gonna come up. I got some drone footage out there. I got like uh, some commentary from like his RV and sitting outside. A lot better quality than this sitting in my garage. But that'll probably. I'm gonna try to finish that here within the next week or so. When I'm back out there again, I'll be out there for 7 to 10 days, depending on how long he's out of town. So yeah, just thought I would just jump in, just give a general update. That's sort of the state of my life at the moment. Um, met up with some friends tonight. We talked a little bit about potential food shortages coming. So anybody who's been following, like, you know, just the general state of the world, be ready for supply chain breakdown and food shortages. Make sure you have, what is it, food, water, communications, guns, and ammo if you're into that. If you're not, that's fine, but it's you can't deny it's beneficial. So food, water, guns and ammo, and just anything else that, communications and anything else that really, would benefit you, or if you're lucky enough to, a group of people that you may get in with, a group of like-minded people. Um, no matter how strong you think you might be as a survivalist type, you can't do it on your own. You still need to find a group of people. I mean, you might be able to do it for a week or two. Like, if something happens, you might be able to get by for a week or two. But long term, you can't do it on your own. So I highly recommend people seek out groups of people in their area that are looking for people with different skill sets. I'm more of a techie, nerdy communications, you know, and with a lot of primal survival stuff. And, I'm not like a prepper or anything, but I have primal survival skills from my old days, and, like, ROTC, Boy Scouts, things like that. I mean, I know how to build fires. I know how to purify water, things like that. Um, but a lot of people don't. I mean, it's really sad to say it. Most people don't know even the basic level skills, that are going to be required if something were to happen. Like just imagine, like me here, I'm in my garage and the lights are on and I see street lights over here and stuff. Just imagine one night sitting out watching Netflix or something, whether it's in your room or your garage or sitting out in your back patio. Imagine all the lights in your city just going out, just dropping. And you start to hear like people come outside, like, what's going on? What's going on? And then it goes into like the next day, people go back in, they go to sleep. Oh, the power will be back on by morning or whatever. But then it's not. It's not. And then people are like coming around the next day. You have neighbors like, hey, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Do you have any food? We didn't go to the store. We tried to go to the store earlier, but it was packed and the shelves were empty, and that's the type of stuff you have to think about. You know, I learned a long time ago, and just like I said, between Boy Scouts and ROTC and the government agencies that I used to work for and everything, typically within the first 30 to 60, 90 days at the most, people without food and water and skills and resources are going to die. You're going to die unless you're at least somewhat prepared. I mean, if you're somewhat prepared, you might still at least live for a couple of weeks, you know. And then if you're lucky, you'll meet up with a group and they'll help you if you have something to contribute. But don't expect that. If you have nothing to contribute to a group, they're not going to take you in. I mean, you might get lucky and find some bleeding heart person who said, "Yeah, you can come in." But once you get in there and you're eating their food and drinking their water and you're not contributing anything, eventually they're going to kick your butt out. So have something to contribute. Um, like I said, for me, it's like communications and basic survival, water, get water gathering, which is something I'm big on. Um, and stuff like that. Just bugs and grubs and just eating whatever you can, whether it's foraging. I guess foraging is the best way to put it. Foraging for stuff. Um, and then the friend of mine I talked to tonight, she has nursing skills. She has medical skills. She knows drugs. She knows natural treatments, natural remedies and stuff. Very, very skilled and intelligent person. Um, another friend of mine, he's young and he's strong and physically able, he could be like the firewood guy. Go get firewood. Go do this. Go do that. He could be sort of the grunt. And of course, you got to feed him more, to keep him strong and keep him gathering and doing the things you need to do. But that's how community works. That's how things work. So I don't know. I mean, I don't look forward to like the collapse of civilization, but if things keep going the way they are now and have been over the last couple years since, you know, even pre-COVID, but ever since COVID, things are getting worse. Gas prices are going up, ammo prices, food prices, everything going up. So you get what you can while you can, because eventually you're not going to be able to afford it. And once you can't afford it, somebody else will be able to, but then eventually they're not going to be able to anymore, and things are just gonna fall in on themselves. So scary times, people. It may not happen. I may be wrong. I mean, we may be lucky enough here in the next. Well, I guess we just had our primary 2022 primary elections, but if we're lucky enough, maybe somebody will get in office in 2024 that will turn things around and change the economy. But even then, don't be complacent, because even if somebody you agrees with, or even somebody who's more, uh, what's the word, better in office, who has better policies, political policies. I don't want to get into politics, but people who have better policies, even if they get in office, there's so many variables and so many factors that even if they get in and you think everything's okay, it could still fall, it could still collapse. Um, so you always have to be ready, no matter what. So I'm just going to sort of leave it at that. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, like, subscribe, and set the notifications and comment below. So whatever. So I don't care if you do or not, but I hope you have a good night regardless. So, oh, anything else? No, that's about it. So I hope you all have a good night, day, whatever day it may be. I guess it's, like I said, it's Friday, the 20th. So maybe if you watch this over the weekend, have a good weekend, and I'll catch you guys. I'm going to try to do these a little more often, so maybe I'll catch you next week or something. So peace out.